All right.
Hello. I wanted to be up front enough to just check in with everybody. Today was like first day of school. I wanted to see who was good, who wasn't good, who was riding technically well, who was riding the fast sections well, who was antsy, who was patient. Um, and I think 5 to go, I started to kind of whittle down that group a little bit, and yeah, the strong guy stayed, and I was nervous. I was nervous about where I was going to be at, so I wanted to test that out. And that's kind of where that separation started to happen. And this is a race that typically ends up in big groups, and they kind of come apart over here in the technical section, and then everybody pedals it back together over here, and then we all come to the line together, and then it splits again. So I wanted to keep making that front split, so I wasn't having to chase a lot. And yeah.
So,
Edit that out. Edit that out.
no.
That literally cannot be
No.
edited out.
It's okay. I like him. He's
How'd
nice.
your race go, Dan Chabanoff?
Terrible. I bonked. Apparently, you actually need to eat for hour-long races.
Oh, come on. Don't be soft.
I'll see ya.
Donut pockets.
So, you had the usual suspects there that you know about. You had, Tobin went out hard, and you got Powers back there. You got Kerry Werner, who you battled on the with the fat tires. Do they call them fat tires anymore?
I don't even
Mountain
know.
bikes.
No, I don't think they're fat enough.
No, not fat enough.
No.
Rob Peters. There's
Yeah.
somebody that, obviously you've lined up with in races, but you
Absolutely.
never really raced head to head. So
Well-
that was kind of an unknown.
We have and we haven't.
Okay.
Rob is sometimes more often than not the kind of in my group in the European races. Like he's always on the Belgian national teams. So at the World Cups and stuff like that, he's always there, and at the World Championships, I think sometimes. And so he's usually the group I kind of race for. He's one of my markers. So I knew that we would actually be pretty evenly matched. He's a really good racer. He's been racing for a long time. I think he's Jeremy's age. So old. And he's got a lot of experience. So I really wanted to see how coy he was going to play with us, and where he was going to be, if he was going to show his cards early or not. And he raced he raced very smart. I think he raced like the smartest guy out there, and never really showed his cards. And I think when he did, it was just him and I alone. So it wasn't really like no one else was really there to see it. So it was a pretty intimate race there, and it was really good for me to be there and see that, and for him and I to be racing with a little more stakes rather than racing for 15th.
Yeah, and it looks like each of you were almost playing the same game where you're testing each other. It was like these little micro efforts, these little attacks, get a little gap, and then catch up, sit up, look at the other guy. And it was a nice little cat and mouse. But then at the end, that kind of let Powers and Petrov back into the race.
Yeah, I played a lot less cat and mouse than he did. I was trying to be a little more. I was trying to have a little more communication, a little more communicative, and say like, hey, we don't want them to come back. Let's try and roll this together so we can sprint each other. It's gonna come back together if we keep playing this game. I think he was happier to play the games, and that's fine. I can do that too. I have the experience of racing this as a group last year, coming down with me, Powers, and Danny, and me, Powers, and Jamie. So I know what to do on the last lap, and so I was banking on like, okay, if you want to play it like that and you want these guys to come back together, then we're gonna have to play that experience card. So I did the best I could with it. So.
And you had mentioned before we started recording that having that experience in the sprint, you basically knew what you had to do coming down those last couple grass turns.
Absolutely. And last year, I mean, Powers laid that out. Like he knew he needed to be first going into the woods. He knew how to set a really, really, really hard tempo going into the going through the flat sections. He knew he needed to be first going into the technical top section. and it was the first one out of the stairs that won, and I made a mental note of that by losing, and I tried to not be fooled twice, right? So I had that in my head. Okay, this is what I need to do. I need to be the first at the top of the stairs and just give it everything. And so that's what I did. I had to just give it everything, and it was everything. It was everything. So
yeah, and so you're first in the corner, you get the win. So,
yeah.
and a great first win. Going into these World Cup. Well, first question: are you racing Cross Vegas?
I'm not racing Cross Vegas.
Okay. So going into these World Cups, knowing where you're at form-wise, what is, if you want to say, what's your expectation? Where do you think that you can end up in these World Cup races?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it. Like my goal I think in the World Cups, my goal is always the top 10. That's what I'm shooting for. I did attain that at Iowa. I'm really pushing for a better result than that this year. I'd love to push myself into a top 5. I think it's possible. I think if my fitness keeps coming along like it is, it's very possible. It's another year and more experience, and I hope to really build on this last year of success, and yeah, that's my goal.